Hi, we're going to take a second look at the Kwikset SC1 Smartkey lock. You know, I've taken off the clips and the ring here. We don't need those parts. Get rid of them. And so I can easily pull the cylinder out like this. I just wanted to show you a few of the behaviors of this lock. You know, we have the original Kwikset Learn tool, this little silly thing, and then we got the new Smartkey. They call these Learn tools, but I thought the best one to use is this one. It's made by Kwikset. I think it came in a change reset tool. Oh, look, we've got the little. This is perfect. We can just put this in here, click this in, pull the key out. But now look what happens if I reset the lock without actually doing anything. Oh, it's reset to the fully open position. Oh my goodness. So that's kind of interesting. So let's reset it. Get rid of these little tools. We don't need those. You put this in, reset the lock. We can put in the original. Well, let's try a different key. This is an interesting key. This is like a bump key. It's all cut to the number 9 depth. Oh, but look. So what we figured out is that everything, when it goes, pins are at rest, it's a number 9 depths. So that tells us a lot right away. So I thought you might be interested in my camera mount. This was, you know, I got this off Discord. Somebody talked about these tools, but I just decided to chop it, cut it in half, and put it in the heavier hole. So, and I've got a low profile mount, so I like it like that. Well, we got the lock in the reset position. This is the key that came with it. Click. Just wanted to show you, this is an SC4 blank. This is the Schlage 6-pin version, but I've just cut it positions 2 through 6 with the same cuts as this key, and it works. That's just something interesting to point out. See, it just fits in so nicely, and because there'll be a lot of people trying to fit in the SC4. Let's look at some other useful tools. Of course, I have the Dangerfield set. Oh, I got the little thin shims, some key gauges, some 12/1000ths picks, but also I have the Lishi. So we know, since this is a sidebar lock, a reverse sidebar lock, that this is going to do no good. You know, you put torque on this and you get nothing. So we might as well just throw this part away. We don't need that. And we can just deal with the plug itself. Oh, that was another problem, because I have the fingers, the wafers won't allow the plug to go back in. Put in the key. Fits right in there. So what else was I going to show you? One more useful tool to have is the Kwikset Smartkey SC1 reset tool. This is an interesting little tool. Oh, so we got the little Smartkey doodad, little prongs on it. We got a reset, and we have a blank key. So we'll get into that, using that later, because when you mess with this lock, you are going to lock it up and jam it. So you will need the Smartkey reset tool. I'll put that over there so you can might be able to read the part number. But those are the tools we're going to be using. I wanted to mention, since this is a reverse sidebar lock, even if you had it picked to the perfect key and you had tension on the core like this, I'm turning tension on the core, it still won't turn. You have to let go, and then the sidebar falls back in place. Let's try that again. See, I can't turn it. You just push the key and I'm holding it, so it won't turn until you let off pressure, let off tension, and then the sidebar falls in. So even a perfect pick would not allow you, this is a perfect pick because I have the key. I can't turn the core until I release tension, then the sidebar goes back in. So we know this is a reverse sidebar lock. Let's pull the plug out. It's easy. Turn it 180 degrees so that this little black thing doesn't catch anywhere. And since we have a working key, we could do that. But now if we let it go, now that's how the reset carriage. Now we've reset it to all the deep depths. This key will work just the same. The bump key, because they're all set. The pins go to rest in the rest position, and that is the number 9 depths. So we have it in the. Got to put it back in the Bible and push that in. And we have the plug here, goes right in there. We have a free spinning plug. Just a free spinning. You can just spin it around, blah blah blah. We can use the reset tool, lock in the reset carriage, and now it's able to accept any key we want. But there was something else I wanted to show you. So here I'm using the Lishi. I want to demonstrate. We've reset it to this key. You can see the wafers are sticking up. But if I have that out of the Bible, but if I hold in with a lot of pressure on the sidebar, and I just attempt to pick it, let's see here, we go to pin 1, like there, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold it in, get position 4, and I'm holding a lot of pressure on the sidebar. There we go. Oops, and we got to pick position 1, and something's still off. There we go. I think 4 and 5 are still up. There's number 4. Come on, get over there. Have a hard time. Oh, see, you can pick it to. I picked it just to the reset position, just with by putting a lot of pressure on the sidebar. But as we know, this is a square sidebar, and the part in the plug is also square. So by putting pressure on the sidebar, we're going to get nowhere. So what are we going to do? We're going to play this little game. See how this tool works the reset. So now let's look at a method of picking. Like, what are we picking with this lock? So we'll go into some detailed looks at that. So let's look at another possible way to pick this lock. We notice that this is in the reset carriage, in the reset position. Well, this wafer is just a little bit out, but each one of the wafers is sitting in the gate, is right in the sidebar. So this is when the carriage will be able to slide back and forth and reset the lock. Now in this slide, I have the wafers out of the carriage, and I'm looking at them sitting now. See these projections here? See the notch in there? So this is if the wafers would slide back, and they can only slide back when they can clear these notches. There's another shot of that. Now here, I've put in the key and reset the lock to this particular key bitting, and you can see the wafers are up, pushed up. This one here, you'll notice, is in perfect alignment already. That corresponds with this number 9 key cut. So you don't want to touch this wafer. It's already perfectly set. Now I'm showing the lock is kind of upside down here because the wafers, when you put the key in, are going to move this direction. Here's what happens. Here's what it looks like with the reset carriage with that key bitting in it. See, number 9 lift is right there, but all these wafers are blocking this channel, so the reset carriage cannot move. Now here I wanted to show this lock has been reset to this bitting of this key. This is the top, but see, all these wafers are sticking up out. So you cannot slide the reset carriage here, and the sidebar will not go in. Now, of course, when it's in the Bible, it looks like this. So here we have, this is a number 1 lift sticking out. This is a 7. This is our 9. And I think this is a 1 and a 2. Now, I wanted to point something else out here. See this little deal here? This is what actually locks in the reset carriage. I made a mistake. It does not hold the reset carriage. What it actually does, this is the rear of the Bible. See this little channel in here? And you see it's got a notch in there. So here's another shot of it. When you push the reset carriage in, that little black thing will lock into this position, and it holds the reset carriage in the reset position. It allows you to remove the key, put in a new key, and then when you rotate the plug, it slips out of that, and the reset carriage falls back by the spring pressure and locks in the key. Here you can see the groove right in here. We're in the reset position. But the problem sometimes can occur. Here's this little reset holder, I guess I'll call it. It can get trapped, and you can't get the damn plug out. So just remember, you can push this thing down and rotate the plug slightly to get it out. And here it's stuck here, and you're like, I can't get the plug out of the Bible. Well, just push this thing down and rotate the cylinder, and it'll come right out. I just wanted to point out here that if you don't have the key in the lock, these the wafers can potentially stick out. Here I'm trying to put the whole cylinder back in the mortise housing here, but since I don't have the key in, these wafers are sticking out and I can't get it in. So just put the key in. That's a simple way. Now I think you've already figured out by now what we're going to do. We're going to try to push on the reset carriage and move with a pick or some other way. We're going to manipulate the pins, and the wafers are connected directly to the pins because they're locked in, putting pressure on the reset carriage. Now this is a technique that was described to me by a fellow picker named Snow. He said he had done this on the KW1 locks. It was a lot more difficult than using the technique where you push in on the sidebar. Now in this lock, SC1, it's much more difficult to get to the sidebar. So we look at this technique described to me by Snow. So, but you understand that the reset carriage is blocked by the wafers. Not only is it blocked in the reset position with the notch that has to fit the groove, but also the wafers themselves stick up and will hit against the carriage, and you can't unlock the carriage until you get them all clear into the reset position. Then the reset carriage will slide back and the lock will reset to the open position. Now, of course, when you do that, you lose whatever the lock was set to. So if you mess with somebody's lock and you reset it, you successfully pick it, well, you reset the lock, and if you don't have the original key, it's going to be obvious somebody messed with it. And of course, if you got the original key, you can just reset it. So I just wanted to point that out. Now here I have a number of lock cylinders for a lot of practice, but the thing I wanted you to notice was, see all these keys? These are all the SC1 Kwikset keys. They all have a deep cut and a very shallow cut. So that really ensures the wafers are going to be sticking up and down, and you're going to have a hard time. But also these plugs, these cylinders, are compatible. They will fit in the old original Kwikset style smart key. See that? Notice the reset hole is on the left side, so that indicates it's a smart key KW1 type keyway. Here's one. I know this is a Gen 3, but you may have to change the tailpiece when you try to put it in this type of cylinder. But you can just get replacement cylinders. They're all just slip right in, whether it's the KW1 or the SC1. So let's look at picking this lock. So I have it reset in the reset position, so I can put in the original key, lock it in. Key works. Don't work now. But what I'm going to do, what better way to pick a lock than with the Kwikset tool? But I notice when a lot of people pick locks, you know, they know their particular lock. They've rehearsed it a bunch of times on video so they can show it and make it look decent. So I don't know, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to use this, and we can, because if I use the other little tools, it's too hard to get any pressure on it. It's because you have to put a considerable amount of force on this. And I'm going to use the Lishi because I know what's going on. Now, so I'm trying to put force on this. And I know pin 1, you know, it's binding first. Not too much force. I might have overset. It's real easy to overset. Don't get any feel. I don't want to touch number 3. Something's still not right. Let's try. You don't get any feel for this thing, is the problem. And you don't want to put any torque on it because you don't want to bind up the side. Oh, I got it in. Wow. Now I made that look pretty easy, didn't I? Well, yeah, maybe. I used a Lishi. That's no good. That's cheating, right? I knew the lock. I knew what everything was. Cheating. Let's take a look. So I gotta like not screw up here. And we put it in the. We'll lock it in the reset position. Oh, see there, I went and locked it. So now that I know the reset cradle is there, let's try to take it off. Let's see if we can fuck it up here. Oh, shit. Oh, great. Oh, man. There's a bunch of wafers fell off. And there's the wave. So crap. So anyway, I maybe sort of picked it, maybe not. But I find it extremely difficult to get any feel. So actually I might have cheated, didn't have all the wafers in. But it's really, really hard for me to get any feel of the lock. So anyway, it can be done that way. You know, it doesn't matter to me whether you say I picked it or not. Whether I first picked, I don't care. That's not important to me. But I'll let somebody else show a first pick of it, since you know now what to do. You know, you're putting pressure on the carriage and trying to get a feel for each one of those wafers. But I will tell you, the wafers bind. They can turn sideways and jam up. And whole lock, I mean, I've jammed it up many times and I have to take it apart. So if you've got the reset carriage and a bunch of other tools, because you're going to be taking this thing apart a bunch of times before you really figure out how to get it picked correctly. So I think in the next little shot we'll just demonstrate the reset carriage. So as a follow-up, here's the mess still. If you were observant, you will notice that I probably only picked 1, 2, because I cheated. I didn't have all 5 wafers in it. I just had 3. And number 3, I knew that was a number 9 lift, so I didn't have to pick it. But it's really hard. I don't get any feel it until I'm just there. Number 2 was a 7. But I've had a heck of a time trying to pick 4 and 5. But that's the way you kind of learn. You practice. I see a lot of people learn to practice by putting in, you know, part of the locks, part of the operating mechanisms, and get a good feel for it. So I'm going to probably leave it to somebody else to show us a correct first pick of this lock. And I'm telling you, I don't believe it's all that easy. So next, just going to show you a little bit of the sidebar, the reset cradle as they call it. The actual, you know, I call this the reset cradle. What do we call this? This is the cradle. I call this the reset carriage. So we got the reset cradle, and you'll see that in the next video. So thanks. So just as a finishing touch, I wanted to show you this reset cradle. So what it says, this is the top of the plug, this little bar here. Turn it upside down. See, the wafers are sticking up. Put in the blank key they provided, and it pushes all the little wafers down. You put this reset cradle on top of it like that. Hold it up there. Pull the key out, and you can rotate the plug slightly like that. Take it off. Now the wafers are all captured underneath there. And then I always turn it the wrong way. And turn it this way. There's the sidebar. Then you can latch it back like that, and then reset it to whatever key you want. There you go. That's how that works.